Hello, Deep Mindfulness Collective. You beat me to it. This right here, right now, is the joy of being a live stream coming to you live from Brooklyn, New York. Folks, very happy to be here with you. Very excited that we are on our way to having a good time. What's up, folks? What's new? What's happening? Oh my God, it's been so long. We've had such a little vacation. Hopefully people had a great time away, and we can go from there. Okay, folks, very excited about today. Let me know where you're coming from and what you're grateful for. I think you guys guessed it, I'm in Brooklyn. What am I really grateful for? Oh, I know. Apparently, I spelled both of the. Oh, I spelled this word wrong, and there's no spell check here. So, operant conditioning. Oh, and I'm frozen. Let's fix this. There we go. Operant conditioning. I'm so happy that my dog is trainable. So great. It's good times. Vienna for blueberries. Excellent. Blueberries are good. Blueberries are low sugar, delicious treat. Let's see. Yeah, what else, folks? Let me know where you're coming from, what you at, where you at, what's going on. So today for meditation, keto friendly. Exactly, that's what I was going to say, is that they're keto friendly. Brooklyn, a clean home. What a delight a clean home has. It's funny. We occasionally have had a housekeeper come by, and it's just funny because not like I'm keeping the house like super clean, but it's hard to justify when I'm just sort of plodding along. The house is pretty damn clean, so maybe I'll have her come by anyway because it's been so long. Actually, I think I remember that the day that she came was the day that I got my second shot. Anyway, so it was a while back. So folks, hit me up. Where are you at? What are you grateful for? And then we're going to meditate. Let me know what is new with you. I'm happy to be back here with you. Thank you for not murdering me with for doing some replays. The main premise with the replays was that I needed to take a little time off, and we're trying that out. Is that a good way to go? Apparently a few people came, so apparently it's, works for some people. But how was that? What was that like? What was it like to do the replays if I can't be here? Because usually we just don't have a stream. So is that a helpful workaround? If we need to, how do folks feel about that? That's what I want to know. I don't know why I want to float a few hearts around here. Okay, so folks, we're going to meditate for 25 whole minutes, which I'm excited about. And then after that, we can chit-chat like kitty cats, dive into something. I think I even have a playlist of things to watch on stream, but we'll see. Actually, that might be an interesting thing to do, is things that I've been meaning to do and watch is just like watch them here with you guys. Although often what happens is it's like a 2-minute video and it takes like a half hour to get through because we have so much to talk about with it. Is this thing on? And so, yeah, there's that. What else? Okay, so folks, find a nice comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. The sit will be, if you're just joining us, 25 minutes. If you're also just joining us, P.S. Oh, Nate, you came for Fridays. Great. Okay, so basically what we'll do then is if I need to take a day off, we're going to just run a rerun or a replay rerun. I feel bad calling it a rerun because reruns, I always feel like I hate reruns. But my youth was built out of watching reruns. So find a nice comfortable position that you can maintain. If you're new here, let us know that you're new. If you are just tuning in, let us know. And let us know where you're at and what you're grateful for. Maurice says, Perth, Australia. Yes, grateful for YouTube videos. Nice. Oh, for my YouTube videos. Oh, well, thank you so much. That's very kind. That's very kind of you to say. And good times. And also, Fridays, P.S. Fridays, Mondays. Oh, yeah. So Nate, Fridays was one of my favorite streams we've done in a long time. I was actually going to make it into its own video that we're going to put on YouTube, but I've been so behind that I haven't done that yet. But that's the idea, is that gets edited down to be its own little video. What else? is, let's meditate, folks. Find a nice, comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. Let me think for a minute about what I want to do in terms of meditation. I want to, P.S. I'm going to put this link in the chat. I did this is for people who are preparing. I don't know how many people here fit into this category. People who are preparing for a journey, a psychedelic journey, to look at and find pieces that are pieces of themselves that are resisting, entering a sort of transcendent material. So let me find that real quick. I just want to send you guys the link because I liked that piece of material. It's based on an IFS technique and called the Pathways Meditation. And where is that sucker? Here it is. Oh, it was an attachment. It's not a Dropbox link. Okay, if anyone wants that, let me know and I'll send it to you. I don't want to take up too much time. But for today's meditation, areas to explore. Let's do some mandala. Let's do some mandala, or at least some kind of nurture positive practice. So here's what I want to do. Okay, I have an idea. Okay, that's a great idea. I'm so brilliant. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do some nurture positive practice. And yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, well, I want to change it at some point, but for now, this will be a dry run for something I think is pretty interesting. So find a nice, comfortable position that you can maintain for the duration of the sit. We'll be practicing for 25 minutes. I'm going to encourage you to stay in complete stillness. Don't move the body. Don't move at all, unless you need to. And then just take 30 seconds or so, or if you feel overwhelmed, even a tiny bit, you can go ahead and make little adjustments or big adjustments, or even stop the meditation. And the next thing is we'll start the meditation. We're doing that. So do I want to start out with a non-doing? Yes. We're going to start out with a non-doing kind of thing. Okay, so find a nice comfortable position, and when you're ready, we will begin. Try not to cough directly into your microphone. Hide behind the text to take a drink. Okay. Excuse me. And when you're ready, we'll begin. Beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths. Just feeling the body rise and fall. Knowing that we arrive to this meditation with the momentum of all of the previous moments. So taking a moment to tune into these sensations of this particular moment. In this case, the sensations of physically relaxing the body. So relaxing the head, including the muscles behind the eyes, back of the tongue. Relaxing the neck and shoulders. Relaxing the arms, and as you relax the hands, Even if the hands are already still, imagining that they were tight and gripped, and then releasing them even further, more than you can even physically feel. As though the muscles themselves were trying to float away from the bone. Letting go of any attempt to control the breath, letting the body breathe as it will. And relaxing our torso, including the lower belly, lower back. Relaxing the hips and the legs. And relaxing the feet. And we've taken quite a bit of action relaxing the body, so for a time we're going to let go of any kind of doing, any need to do anything. So the body is physically relaxed. We don't need to alter anything there. There can be this sense that we're supposed to pay attention, that we're supposed to be meditating, quote unquote. There can be part of us that believes it needs to understand the meditation, understand what we're doing. And we don't need to stop that part. We just don't need to engage with it either. Sometimes our minds will track or be concerned with time. This may or may not occur. Sometimes the mind will become clear and bright. This may or may not occur. Sometimes, seemingly out of nowhere, efforting to understand or get or to meditate will arise. Maybe even efforting to do nothing. And these may arise, but they're not needed. Most of our life we're driven by some sense of a need. And in this moment, we don't even need to drop that. That may or may not arise. It's often the case that we're unaware of how much doing we engage with, how much trying is actually occurring. And so at this moment, we don't have to stop trying, but we don't need to try. This may sound like a contradiction, but it's simply that nothing is needed of us in this moment. The mind may be confused, or it might understand. This may or may not occur. distracted at times, pulled into unconsciousness, or we may be clear and aware. Either of these may or may not occur. Neither is better. Thoughts may arise. The mind may talk or create images. There's no need to stop these, to quiet them or to observe them. And so this is an experience of non-doing, not needing to change anything. We're going to add a little bit of doing, but only, let's say, 1%. So often we overdo. So I'll describe the very tiny, tiny, tiny amount of doing. And the less efforting we apply, the more nuance we can notice. So occasionally what will happen is that the mind will know. We'll have a sense of a vague being that's in front of us. You may notice that just hearing these words will produce images or emotions. Notice how little you actually have to do. The mind actually does it for us. But there is this vague atmosphere or sense of a being in front of us that is highly deserving, that is highly harmless. This being is deserving of protection, has done nothing wrong. And perhaps even seems fragile in its nature because of its deeply deserving qualities. Again, noticing if this description gives us a sense that we need to create a great amount of detail, something very stable or solid. In other words, if we need to add a lot of doing. Because we do not. This being is simply known. At times it will be known by the mind, by awareness, and at times it will flicker away, not be known. How little doing can we engage in and still know this being? How little of our self-will, our own volition, do we need to activate in order to simply know the nature of this lovable, kind, deserving being? We don't need to change anything. We don't need to be anyone. And at the same time, this being is known. Parts of us may disagree or be confused or move in any other direction, and that's fine. That's expected. But part of us can simply know. And if the mind drifts away, letting it come back to the knowing of this being, this kind, spacious being. This being can exist all in front of us, like a large atmosphere. Like any atmosphere, its edges aren't terribly clear. The mist that makes up this being may even touch the front of the body. Again, we don't need to produce this. Simply knowing is enough. There can be the sense that if the point is to know this being, we could just turn up the intensity, creating a more intense experience. But this is losing something very vital. We lose the awareness of how little actually needs to occur in order for this being to be clearly, deeply known. And as we know this being, its nature of being deserving, being harmless, being gentle and lovable, and we've described this being as being in front of us, although we may find over time that the sense of it being in front can dissolve. There can simply be, and the sense of front and back, our sense of our separation at times can simply dissolve. This may or may not happen. Often there can be a remaining part of the mind that wants to manage and understand. And this part can create a lot of separation, a sense of inside and outside. And that's fine for that part to exist, but it doesn't need to. For a moment, recognizing that, of course, this being is part of us, part of our nature. The mind can imagine that it's separate or outside, but of course this is our experience. There's no way we could begin to know such a being or experience if it were not part of our nature. And perhaps even a core part of our nature. That with barely needing to do anything, this kind awareness can permeate our whole experience. Can become a place we can return to, a kind of home or refuge. And eventually, maybe even seeing that this kind, spacious knowing is us. Perhaps this is the true me, not the small one that seems to hide behind my eyes or somewhere in the center of my body. But the spacious, open, welcoming, deserving, harmless, self that we've been waiting for. So staying with the practice, staying in stillness, allowing a tiny bit of light to enter the eyes, and as we eventually allow the eyes to rest on a single point as they fully open, letting the spaciousness of seeing expand the spaciousness of our awareness. And simply knowing this experience becomes the great teacher that shows us how we might bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. All right, folks, make any adjustments you need to allow the body to be comfortable. Any stretching or that kind of thing. Oh, yeah. And now is where we get to the fun part. Don't let the meditation go away. Often we can be like, oh, I'm resetting, meditation over. Now I'm getting back to my normal way of being. This is, in a way, it's like there's two operating systems, and we're trying to get the whole system. This is what awakening is. We're trying to get the entire system to switch to a new operating system. So if as soon as we finish the meditation, we just let the other operating system take over, we lose a lot of our momentum. So see if we can let them slowly blend, because it teaches the system that actually there's less of a gap between the two. So stay in that same awareness, have a little bit of a, contact with that spacious kind, knowing, that kind of thing. Very, very helpful. Even if you want to jump on the Discord, which I'll put the link in for now. And the first link there is our Discord. And if you want to jump on and chat, or if you want to write a report with those digits, my favorite digital technology. What was that like? What happened? What do you like now? It is always essential. It's a really great way to advance your, it's the same thing like if you stretch after you do exercise, it has a big impact on your. It makes all the fitness aspects, words I'm losing right now. It increases the impact of the exercise. So the point of it is that in a similar way, talking about your experience does the same thing. So let's see here. Here we go. If you want to jump on the Discord, I'll be there. If you do jump on the Discord soon, you'll be able to hear my voice in the Discord. You won't have to switch back and forth, etc., etc. Okay. So what was that like, folks? What happened? What do you like now? I spent longer than usual on the non-doing part, so I'm curious how that impacted the practice. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's about the same. Yeah, what was that like? What happened? What do you like now? Okay. And if no one wants to chat or tell me about their experience, then y'all can just go to hell. Just kidding. Then we don't have to talk. No pressure. Okay. Let's see here. Discord manager. Okay, here we go. Nick says hello from Karlstad.
Hello from Karlstad.
Oops, that is not the audio source that I was looking for. How do I switch that again? Why is it playing from that? Because the output device is going to my VR, which is over there. Wait, how do I switch that? Why did it switch that? Well, I don't care why. Where do I need to change the setting? Is it in? Damn it. System audio, that's what it is. Okay, I got it. I'll fix it. Sound settings. Here we go. I'll fix this. Yeah, it's going to my VR headset. Very cool. That should have fixed it. That should do it. Here we go. Give me a play.
Hello from Karlstad. Having an argument with the office printer, so I had to skip this one. By the way, which stream was on the replay on Friday? Caught a few minutes and it was great, but don't know if it's on YouTube.
It's actually not on YouTube yet because I'm trying to edit it down right now. So coming soon. Hopefully that's not too annoying. Wunderlama says the following.
I was feeling very alive and aligned. A very pleasant meditation, thank you.
I'm glad it was pleasant. And I'd be curious, on top of it being pleasant, what your experience was like, what happened, and what you're like now. Okay, let's see here. Close that, and then jump and see if anyone is waiting patiently on Discord. This is Discord, right? Nope, no one's there. Okay, great. Any other reports or questions? No pressure. We can call it early if we want. But do it now if you're doing it, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. Well, it sounds like people are ready to jump off and start with their regular S day. That's fine with me. Yeah, hit me with reports. Julia says...
Started wound up and agitated, like I said, worked lots overtime. Some agitation remained, but was joined by peaceful sensations and tiredness.
Nice. I want to actually add something here, I realize. Whenever our assistant does the time codes for the video, so I'm talking to you guys just to give you a background, but also to our person who does the time codes, Naz, who's wonderful. Thank you, Naz. You're very, very helpful. I really appreciate you. Often the time codes are based on the question or like the time code will be, started, wound up, and agitated, and basically quoting what was said by Julia. However, what I would love is if the time code switched to start being more on like whatever topic was being brought up. So I'm about to bring up a topic, so that's what this next part is. I have discovered if people ask me how do you use meditation for sleep, I'm now using something else that I prefer, and it's basically parts related. So how do you use meditation to help you with sleep? What I would say is, if you can find the part that is agitated and soothe that part with understanding, it is very, very powerful and very helpful. And compassion, basically, like this part arises. Like last night I had this part, I was sort of sleeping there and I was like, like remembered a thing that I was sort of supposed to do, but also sort of like maybe it's a little embarrassing. So it just, floods you with adrenaline, which is, for me, that's what happens at night. I'll just have a thing and the mind will wake up. It's a kind of classic trauma response is what that's typically referred to. The system's looking for danger and it like will alert you about something it thinks might be danger. And so what I'll do is with compassion, that part that's like, oh, what is it? I'll just say like, oh man, like I really understand why you might feel that way. That's really tough that you're like waking up in the middle of the night. Oh, so sorry to hear that. Now that takes a little bit of disidentification, but it really, this is largely what we do in the, IFS work is that. So, yes, indeed. Okay. So, let's see. Jean says the following.
I'm a bit groggy this morning, was out of town and got home late, but physically felt great, very grounded.
Okay, great. And also, P.S. folks, I want to give people some guff because, like, you can't. I'm not saying you should give more of a report than you're giving, and I don't want to give whatever. And I want to say, like, it's as a teacher, hearing about what your phenomenological experience was like is very helpful and powerful. So the fact that it was good and interesting, or relaxing, these kind of things, you hear a lot of this as a meditation teacher. Very relaxing. I liked it. Cool. And I think partially it's also because my background is going to fine art, and like you learn so much by people telling you like the details. It was like this happened, and sort of this experience. So I'm just generally encouraging folks, this is not criticism, this is just an encouragement for me. This helped my practice a lot, and it helps me as a teacher build things for you that are more powerful. If you say, this is my experiential, this is what happened to me as I did that meditation. And yeah, it's helpful. I know that this one is relaxing now. That's helpful. It's good to know. Julia says the following. Wait, do we already hear this one?
I'm currently recovering from years of insomnia using my meditation practice and CBT sleep restriction. Tough.
And then you say,
can we increase intrinsic motivation without favoring certain parts over others?
Can we increase intrinsic motivation without favoring? Well, I think you just have to work with them. Sometimes you favor a part. It's not the end of the world if you favor a part. I just think that other parts can't feel like they're being crushed or pushed aside or ignored. Typically, the good way to think of it is every part is part of a balancing act. And yes, you want to attend to all of the different parts, and you can shift parts around. You can say, hey, would you like to do a different role? Is there something else you'd like to work with or do, or that kind of thing? But a lot of what we're doing is soothing parts that are like upset at any given point, and coming to them with compassion rather than judgment, that kind of thing. Because typically, if we come to it with judgment, like, oh, why are you keeping me awake? Like, why are you? That's not us. That's like another part that's just mad at that part for even existing. Wunderlama says the following.
Also, what you said about the two operating systems was very helpful.
Good.
I've never quite understood what it means to bring the state or feeling from meditation over to normal, non-meditating state, but that TechY metaphor sort of unlocked the idea for me.
Yeah, great. And I don't even know if it works very well. I'm not sure, I'm sorry, I'm reading Julia's question. It's blowing my mind. I'm not sure if it's like a really good a metaphor, because it's like, for doing an operating system, it's you kind of just have to switch to some degree. But it is, it's a numbers game, because part of the mind is going by this one system and so used to it, and we have to start training it to use this other system. And there is this sort of brackish water that's between the two, that is somewhere between meditation and our daily lives, and that just becomes more and more mixed to the point where our deepest experience is just woven into our everyday lives. That's really what we want. So often what happens is people end a meditation like, okay, good, done. I got to pull myself back together, and I got to, versus when you finish, when you open your eyes, really try to stay meditating and stay in that experience. And right now, the meditation we did was sort of being aware of this, kind, we call it a being, but really it's like part of our own experience, this, kind spaciousness. And you can just do that now. Just be aware of that now. And that's as you look around, as you talk, as I'm talking to you. The more complex the action, the more you're training it into the system to just be there as a default, as something we can return to over and over again. Hopefully that is interesting and helpful. Who is doing the favoring? Well, from an IFS perspective, we talk about it as the self. It's you. You are doing the favoring. It is you who's the grand executor, the self who is the thing that manages all these different parts. Now, that gets a little tricky because there are experiences beyond the self, but that's part of the premise, is that it's our higher self or our true being, or like whatever you want to call it. But that ideally would be the entity that would be doing the favoring. You also want to watch out for, this is something that's big for me, is a part of myself that wants to understand and get it and answer a question like that. Like, who is it who's doing the favoring? Like, who am I really? And that's often a part that is just a sort of conceptual layer. So kind awareness doesn't need to understand. It knows already. So that's something that might be helpful. Any other questions, reports, interest, opportunities, curiosities, queries, or any other words I can put in that list that I can make that a longer run of words for fun? Any and all would be great. Julia says,
I was mainly joking when I asked that, but you're giving an excellent answer.
There you go. See, you can't detect nuance in text. Okay. Thank you, Julia. It's a great question. Well, I'm glad you're joking, because there is this degree to which people will get really fussy and be like, but what is, like I went to this monastery when I was in Burma, and you were allowed to talk in this monastery. And one of the things that I started talking to this, my roommate, who happened to be speaking English and happened to be interested in continental philosophy, a very sort of thin, realm of stuff that not many people are interested in because it's not that relevant. It's pretty highfalutin. And I talked about it, and I talked about how it relates, but then really I was talking about how to apply it to practice and how to apply it into our perception. And he was like, yes, but what does it mean if we don't know, and how could we blah, 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 what's the, and I was like, that's fun, what you're doing is fun, but it's not practice. And it was really hard for me to get across, like, cool, that isn't meditation. Like, what you're doing is philosophy, and it's really fun, because in a way, it's like a lot of what philosophy ends up being is, if we took either Descartes to be true, or if we took the mind as its own unit, and then saw the entire universe from the perspective of the mind, what would its logic be? What would its organizational structure be? And it's very hard for that mind to let go of, well, what if I don't understand? And what if it's just a body experience? And what if that body experience could actually give me more insight into what it means to exist than understanding the pieces? So, yeah, there's that. So the difference between understanding and experiencing is large. Maurice says,
I felt that do nothing and spacious awareness meditation are very similar, if not identical.
Yeah, and there's a lot of overlaps. We start to see these overlaps, and actually, I mean, this is something we start to see at some point, that all of the techniques, everything is just the same. It's like, oh my God, it's just the same palette of experiences. This is the same material, like deconstructive mindfulness, where we're labeling everything we're seeing, like moment by moment, and a heart practice where we're saying, I love you to everything. It's like, wait, these are actually almost identical. There's just very slight nuances that actually make them different. Who am I, and what is the meaning of life? Exactly. These kind of questions, I think, can be interesting, but I feel like often it's similar. Okay, so here's another example. People talk about, like, the Zen koan, like, what's the sound of one hand clapping? Well, that's the sound of one hand clapping, folks. Problem solved. Great. I'm going to tell the Zen masters that they can go to hell. No, so that's a Bart Simpson joke, by the way, if you don't know it already. Yeah, that's a guy, I like that one. How can I stop asking questions? I feel like that would be a funny gag to like play on a Zen teacher, where you're just like, how do I stop asking questions? And I'd be like, throw an apple at you. He's like, all right, but how do I stop? So with Zen koans, people often are very confused as to what they mean, or they're confused as to what they mean. So they think that getting the meaning is going to make them, make sense. So they say, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, what does that mean? Oh, well, so they think, if the tree, I wonder, what does that mean? Oh, if a tree falls and there's no one there to hear it, well, I guess, yeah, I guess that's an interesting thought, right? What they don't understand is that a Zen koan is built to be a scalable test for a student and a scalable technique for a student. So it starts off wherever you are and moves you to wherever you are. What we're moving to is perception and knowing that is pre-linguistic. So the language is built to fail. It's built to not like allow you to land. So if one lands on, oh, the sound of one hand clapping, I've arrived. The teacher's like, okay, no, it's wrong. And whatever answer you give, the response is basically like, you're wrong. But they can actually see and nudge you in a direction if you're actually moving in a way that is moving towards emptiness. So the thing that people forget, and this is super powerful, if you ever want to find a really cool meditation to do, pick any koan that you've heard of. If it's really cheesy, or you just sort of get it more than anything, it might not be the right one, but pick a koan and treat it as a meditative, it is a set of meditation instructions. One of the best koans one of my favorite koans is the following. Bright sun, blue sky. Why does the cloud block the sun? Now, you could sit there and say, well, whatever, like a variety of things. But that's a meditation instruction. It's literally, this is an instruction on how to meditate. Actually, it's bright day. Bright day, blue sky. Why does the cloud block the sun? And look, and not to understand, like, oh, I wonder which, am I the sun? Is the awareness the sun? Okay, let's try that out. Okay, I'm the sun. Why does the cloud block? Which is the cloud? Is the koan the cloud? Is that blocking me? Is the koan getting in the way? But I know the cloud. I can see the cloud. But I can see it clearly. Who does it block the sun? Okay, I can't see the sun. Something is blocked. And it's not like, on one side, it's a theoretical thing, you're thinking about it, but you're trying to experience this. Okay, something is blocked. What's blocked? Where is the block? And experience that. So that's what I want to get to, is that these theoretical things are cool, but experienced and worked on over time, they're fucking transformative. Like a koan. What are the other big, the one hand clapping, tree falling in the forest? What are the other big koans that are common and popular? I forget. But if you take them as a meditation instruction, let's say a tree falling in the forest, right? A tree falls in the forest, there's no one there to hear it. Doesn't make a sound. Okay. Hold that question now. We'll just actually do it. Hold the question, right? What is, you can, the mind will imagine the tree not making a sound, which is weird already. So you can listen to the absence of a sound. We're already getting into very weird experiential territory. There's no one there to hear it. So, okay, you're experiencing this imaginary thing, but there's no one there. So, okay, what is that experience like? What is the experience of no one being there right now? But I'm here. Well, then, do you hear it? Well, yeah, I can kind of hear it. It's like it's not philosophical, if you're trying to experience this, you're trying to actually go through it, and actually, in a way, it's like the answer to this koan is freedom for the rest of your life. So don't treat it like a philosophy assignment. It's actually something that's liberatory. So anyway, that's a little background on how to not philosophize. There's plenty of comments in the chat, though, which are probably pretty funny. Don't know mind. It's flaw, 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 solved. Exactly. Blame Descartes. Yeah, I blame the West generally. Does the sound of one hand clapping have Buddha nature? That's a good question. Just note gone. Exactly. We could easily use any technique. Yeah, meditating me. So I wanted to mention one more thing. I was talking about koans. I was talking about somebody mentioned Descartes. What was the other thing? Does it have Buddha nature? Anyway, I don't mind. There's something in there that I was like, oh, this is a thought I wanted to share. Whatever. Probably not that important. A great statement is one of my first meditation teachers was a writer who wrote like kids meditation books named Dan Millman. Sort of like tween meditation books, which if you have a tween, the book, The Peaceful Warrior, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior really changed my life. And he said something, he's like, if you can't remember it, just forget it, which I thought was very sweet. So the point of it all, folks, is great to be here with you. Super fun, good times for all. And guess what? We're going to be back here in fewer than 48 hours to have a good time, hang out, chit-chat like kitty cats. And in this moment, notice that spacious kind of awareness. If you're not, P.S. I'm supposed to say this. If you're not following, follow the goddamn stream. Hit the in button. I learned that early. This is a good trick. If you're 10 years old, this is a great trick. You can bleep out your own swears, and you get away with swearing. So you can go to your principal's office and be like, this school is a fucking mess. And you can just like bleep yourself out, and you're like, oh man, that guy's a piece of, why is it always, and you get away with swearing. So we're going to be back here in fewer than 40 hours, and it's going to be a blast, folks. Good times for all. But that's what I was saying, is if you haven't followed, hit the follow button, or I'm going to send you back to 5th grade. Folks, great to see you here. Listen to this music. This music was handpicked by me. So in this particular moment, right here, right now, tune back in with what we're doing in the meditation itself, that kind being that is spaciously robust, having fun, good times for all. Folks, really nice to hang out with you today. Have a little bit of time to chit-chat like kitty cats. As always, take care of each other, practice well, have fun, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye.